Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Muhammad Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Rennie Gabriel. Rennie is TEDx speaker, America's America's most unrecognized speaker and philanthropist. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Rennie Gabriel.
Hi,
Rennie, welcome.
Siddique. Hi, Siddique. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Um, well, I guess one of the things that inspired me to do what I'm doing is that I struggled with money most of my life. Um, and by the time I was 50, I had two divorces and a business failure. So I looked to see what is it that wealthy people do, and I modeled what worked and turned it around. So from broke at age 50, about 8 years later, I was a multimillionaire.
What are the top three mistakes to avoid?
Uh, three mistakes to avoid, I would say um, thinking that your success in high school or college determines your fate in the real world. I failed high school math. Um, Second thing would be doing things alone instead of recognizing that wealth creation is a team sport, not a solo sport. Same with growing a business or having a good relationship. And not taking expert advice. I found the most growth happened from having a business coach.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Um, Greatest failure was probably going broke in the art gallery business and going into debt beyond what I owned. And what I learned from that is that I can go broke and recover from that. Uh, what I did was I got a job and in about 6 months paid off all the debts that I'd accumulated from the art gallery job. And then I started my own pension administration company with two partners.
What are your top three success secrets that others can model from?
I'd say the top three I mentioned that wealth creation or any business success, athletic success, any of those. It's a team sport, not a solo sport. Next one would be to ask questions when you hear familiar information instead of making statements like, I know that, or that's not new to me. And then the third one would be the most important for money is to pay yourself first and keep the money that you set aside for yourself because you deserve to own some of the money you're working for.
I like to follow up on this third one, how you pay yourself first.
That's great. It's a 5,000-year-old concept. And Siddique, Muhammad, whatever you want me to use, could you explain the concept of pay yourself first?
I asked this question to you.
And I turned it around and I'm asking you. It's really simple. For every dollar that comes into your life from whatever source, however you're earning it, commissions, paychecks, whatever, you set aside a certain percentage. In my situation, I set aside 10%, and I was buying some individual stocks with it. I tried it a couple times before I was 50, but it finally stuck the third time when I was age 50. I was only earning $5,000 a month and setting aside $500 a month. And in 3 years, I accumulated $18,000, which is what I used for the first real estate investment with two other partners. And that turned into millions of dollars eventually. We went from a first purchase of a 3-unit property to 8 years later, we owned 50 properties. So that's how the pay yourself first works.
We are about to get into lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
Okay, yep, I can handle it.
What are you grateful for today?
Three things: my health, my prosperity, and the relationships I have with my wife and my family.
How young are you?
72.
Renee, you are not 72. You are 18 years old with a 54 years experience.
Yeah, that's right.
What you want to do when you grow up?
More philanthropy. I'm already doing it. I just want to do more of it.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Ask me that again.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Oh, first I recognize what it is, figure out if it's something that is from the past that I'm repeating, and I will talk to someone else. Conversations with other people create the clarity when there's a challenge and provide the answers to solve it. So it's about asking questions and talking to other people.
How do you start your day?
I start my day by going for a jog with my dog and doing exercises.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
It would probably be very similar to what we spoke about early on, and that is that high school or even college is not indicative of the success or failures you may have in life.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Oh, not too tough. If it's a good idea, she recognizes it. If it's a bad idea, she'll tell me, and then I may reconsider.
What is the impactful book you have read, and what did you learn from it?
One of the recent books that I read is
Can I
called.
see the book, please?
Oh yeah, sure. It's called Psychology of Money, and what I learned from it is that it's not about math. It's about our emotional connection to it. So that's a recent book. Foundational book would be Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's what got me on the track to transformational thinking.
I understand that you are author of multiple books yourself. You are welcome to show the one book and talk about why someone should read that book or what they will get out of reading the book. One book at a time.
Okay. So this is my book, Wealth on Any Income. It's been translated into 8 languages. It's a bestseller, an award-winning book. And what they would get out, the structure is the first third deals with the emotional attitudes around money and the messages you may have received from the past and how to overcome them so that you can use the tips and techniques in the latter 2/3 of the book. So if you're not in the right frame of mind, those tips and techniques won't be of any value. Another book that's purely about attitudes is Attitudes of the Wealthy, which has about 32 attitudes that wealthy people operate by that most ordinary people aren't aware of. One of them I mentioned was that wealthy people or people with a wealthy mindset ask questions instead of making statements when they hear familiar information. And there's 31 more.
Well, third one. You showed me 3 books.
Right.
There's one more book. These are the 2?
No. Yeah, just 2 were mine and one was what I'm reading right now.
I apologize. Okay. So why being impactful is important to you?
Good. That's a great question. I think we're all here to serve a purpose, and I don't know if it's so much impact, but if we treat one another with respect, we all grow together as opposed to trying to be better than someone else. It's just about serving everyone else.
Who is your mentor and what's the impact?
One of my mentors was a lady named Patricia McDade. She's passed away. And she was very I would say, transformed. And she led a program called the Entrepreneurial Edge, where a lot of the attitudes that I had about what works and what doesn't work in life were corrected by her as my mentor.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I would say just being a good person, a loving father who took care of his children, someone who contributed to other people's growth and development. That's good enough.
Who is your ideal client?
Someone who is already successful in business and doesn't seem to be able to hold on to the money that they're making, sort of like it's going in one hand and out the other, and they're not having anything to show for it, but they are successful in business.
How can we support you?
Going to my TED Talk and seeing or going to wealthonanyIncome.com/TEDx, watching my TEDx talk, picking up the roadmap to complete financial choice, and donating to the charity Shelter to Soldier that gets 100% of the profits from the work I do.
I'd like to ask a follow-up question. You say on your website, we are raising philanthropists. Tell us more.
A lot of people have a concern about becoming wealthy, and Warren Buffett has a great quote. He says, "Of the billionaires I have met, money just brings out the basic traits in them. If they were jerks before they had money, they were simply jerks with $1 billion." And the opposite is also true. Good people who become wealthy are still good people, and money amplifies these basic traits. And so when I'm working with good people and helping them or supporting them to create more wealth, they become philanthropic. And it's the wealthiest people on the planet who are the biggest philanthropists and making the most significant changes to the planet.
We are about to wrap up. I'd like to have you a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here is my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
It was a pleasure to meet you. You have excellent questions, and I'm pleased to be on the show with you, Siddique.
What would you say as a final word?
It would be wealth creation, business growth, anything else is a team sport, not a solo sport.
Thank you so much, Renee, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.